The responsibilities of a playwright. I think it's to wholly and accurately reflect the truth as the playwright perceives it, to find something in the human experience that is particular and distinctive and honestly rendered and speaks to some basic and enduring truth that unites us all.
It's so simple.
Very easy to be a playwright. To work in your pajamas. You get paid for transcribing the voices in your head. And you're able to spend a good part of your workday couched in the comforts of your own imagination. Well, I will say this about the Pulitzer Prize. I'll say two things. One, it's a reminder that for one beautiful but fleeting moment in time, most people in aggregate thought that I was probably a good writer. And that's a really beautiful thing to be able to hold on to, especially on dark days. And the other thing I will say is that when you win a Pulitzer, you're more or less guaranteed an obituary in the New York Times. So that's kind of cool, except my one worry is that they'll say that, after his Pulitzer, he never did anything again. You can't chase success, because you never know which work that you create is going to strike a chord with the larger public or with the critical community. But I think that even more than success or failure is the urgency a writer feels to impart a story that they think will touch another heart in some lasting way. And that's as simple as, if something hilarious happened to you on the way to work and the drive feels interminable because you cannot wait to arrive at the office and tell your coworker this amazing tale. I think writers live with that urgency every day. This, to me, is what makes a great story. The audience gets deeply engaged in the tale of other people facing or overcoming or confronting or falling prey to some conflict or phenomenon that reveals their true nature. And the audience spends their time in the theater watching that story unfold, seeing all those characters participate in it, almost like they're staring at a painting. But there's this beautiful moment in great storytelling when it ceases to be a painting and becomes a mirror. And instead of just seeing the characters, for the first time, shockingly, the audience sees itself and realizes that in some way that story has always been about them. And to me, that's really mythic and fantastic storytelling in the theater. There are a lot of thrilling moments in a playwright's life, and sometimes those are the great privilege of accepting a fancy prize and feeling loved for a minute. And there's the thrill of an opening night, and there's the gratification of the good party afterwards. But I think the greatest reward any writer ever gets is when you're sitting all alone in front of the computer and a character you've created blurts out something that's surprising even to you. And you realize the character has taken on a life, a mind, and an energy of their own. And I can't even imagine what it must have felt like to be Tennessee Williams when Blanche suddenly said, "I've always depended on the kindness of strangers." That must have put him on a high for a week or more. So those are the really private glories of being a writer, and in truth, nothing matches them. The low points of being a writer, I'll be candid, they're hard. And it's the experience of having a play open and you get fabulous reviews, and the next morning your house is filled with flowers and your messages are all full on your phone and the texts are coming in nonstop. And then there's opening a play and its reception is disappointing and everyone goes radio silent. We're not always good. We haven't always learned as theater artists how to best take care of one another. And those are the moments when we most need community and are often denied it. So I happened to work with the Dramatists Guild of America in New York, and my dear friend, the playwright Sarah Rule, and I were talking how to address this, and we decided, well, what if every time you got a bad review, the Dramatists Guild sent you a cake? And we thought, okay, that's a good idea. But then we realized, what if you got a mixed review? A cake. Then you'd be like, oh my God, it was a bad review. I thought it wasn't that bad. So we thought the cake might be a kind of curse. But those are the loneliest days as a writer. And I think as a community, we need to do better in helping one another. I would like to help each student to find his or her or their true voice. I think that as theater artists, we all have a voice that is as distinctive and as precious as our DNA strand. And I want to help them push past what they think the world expects of them or who their peers think that they should be, and cut through to the wholly original character that they are, and ensure that when they write or when they make theater, it's in accord with that very special voice.